Hey, welcome everybody to InstaPlay's first ever YouTube video. Now here, I'm gonna start this my first video off with a very hot topic as of now, Fallout 4. Now Bethesda's E3 showcase is coming up tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure the correct time, but it is coming out tomorrow, and we will learn more about Fallout 4. But what I'd like to start off by talking about is how I've seen a lot of other YouTubers trying to compare Fallout New Vegas and The Elder Scrolls Online to Fallout 4's quality. Now that's been really ticking me off because they don't have their facts straight. I'm not trying to call them out or diss them, but they're wrong at saying this. First of all, Bethesda, get it that straight, Bethesda did not make Fallout New Vegas nor The Elder Scrolls Online. They published them, but they didn't make them. Fallout New Vegas was made by Obsidian Entertainment, and that's completely different from Bethesda. It's not a branch; it's a completely different studio. Um, and Elder Scrolls Online was made by ZeniMax Studios Online. Now Bethesda published both of them. I think that's why people are getting they're confused that they made it. They had no hands in the development of those games. They just published them. That's why you keep hearing their names. They published them. They help the company that made it put it out to stores. Now, Fallout New Vegas, in my opinion, is going to be great. Um, just because the fact that what the games that Bethesda has made have been perfect. Each one that I know of has been a Game of the Year contender. Most of them have been a Game of the Year. Um, okay, here's an order. I'm going to talk about them in order, the games that they've made on PS3 till now. The first one that everyone knows of is Oblivion. Now that was an old game, and its graphics are really old, and its capabilities are really old. It was whenever the PS3 first came out, no one really knew what capabilities it had. Because now you look at a game like The Last of Us on the PS3, and that's crazy how far they could take it. But with Oblivion, it was a game of the year, and it was really old, but it was great. It was perfect. Bethesda made that. Bethesda then made Fallout 3, Game of the Year, considered one of the greatest games of all time. And I personally love it. Now, they made Fallout 3, not Fallout New Vegas, so you can't compare New Vegas to Fallout 4's quality. You just can't. And then coming up was Skyrim, one of the greatest games of all time yet again. Great RPG, nothing wrong with it. Perfect. Perfect RPG lovers' dream come true. But they made Skyrim. They didn't make the Elder Scrolls Online. ZeniMax Online Studios made that. And now, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Bethesda and ZeniMax have always been kind of tied together. I'm not exactly sure how, so don't take my word on this, but I believe ZeniMax is kind of like the head studio. Like, they make up Bethesda. But Bethesda Studios, don't get me wrong, is completely different than ZeniMax Online Studios. So I know for a fact Bethesda did not have any development in the Elder Scrolls Online. None at all. They probably just had some money in there in the publish. But Fallout 4, you can't really compare any of the older games, in my opinion, to it, except for the fact that every game that Bethesda has put out there has been perfect quality. No flaws that really is of significance. So I believe Fallout 4 is probably going to be a Game of the Year contender. I'm calling that out now, even though it hasn't even came out, but we're going to see more about it. And I hope that we get a really soon release date, maybe this year. Because every game that Bethesda's came out with has also, whenever they announced it, came out a couple months after. So it's not like you had to wait a whole year. They made sure they had everything 100% right for the gamer before they announced it. And every game they've made, they have taken years to develop. That's why we see such big, long spans between their games. Because it takes them years. They take their time with their products to make sure it's perfect and it's what the consumer wants, and the consumer can do anything they want in their games. 100% freedom, except for maybe a couple, and I believe those are Doom and Dishonored. And those are considerably two great games too. Dishonored was a Game of the Year runner, but it didn't quite hit it, even though it was considered great by most reviewing companies. And a lot of people also try to comment that Fallout 4 probably won't be able to hold up with Call of Duty. I beg to differ. Um, Fallout 4, any game that Bethesda has ever came out with, studios stood aside and let them have the spotlight. because they take 3, 4, 5 years to come out with a great game that is almost always Game of the Year by multiple companies, including IGN or Game Informer, GameSpot, everything. They are almost always Game of the Year. So Call of Duty, yes, they're not going to have any hard time selling, but they're not going to be the only thing selling this year. Fallout 4 is going to be a top hit that almost every gamer buys because of what it is. So whenever people try to say Fallout 4 won't be able to compete, they're completely wrong, because every studio knows Bethesda's quality and they watch out for them. Bethesda doesn't watch out for other companies. It's like Bethesda's in their own world. But that is pretty much all that I'd like to say of Fallout 4 right now. I'm hoping we all tune into Fallout or Bethesda's E3 showcase tomorrow. And once we have some more news, I'll probably post some more. But as the end of my first video, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all agree with me. If not, leave a comment. But like I said, don't compare Fallout New Vegas and Elder Scrolls Online to Fallout 4's quality, because it was not developed by Bethesda. And I'd like to end this video with a thank you, and you all have a great day.